And then after the gonadal arteries, we have something called inferior mesenteric artery. And we'll discuss superior mesenteric artery and inferior mesenteric artery in detail in just a moment here. But superior mesenteric artery, for the most part, that mesenteric has something to do with the intestines. So this will actually provide blood to the right side of the intestines and also the transverse colon. And then inferior will provide blood to the descending on the left side and also the sigmoid and the rectum. Now, as we look at this picture, we're just going to reflect just a little bit back on what we've already covered coming off this abdominal aorta. So right after the diaphragm, this big vessel is now going to be called the abdominal aorta. These little small tiny arteries are going up to the diaphragm, are those inferior phrenic arteries. Just after that, we have our celiac trunk, and we see it's got 3 branches on there, helping us figure out that is the celiac trunk right there. We also have superior mesenteric artery that comes off right after celiac trunk here. And then we see our suprarenal arteries on either side going to the suprarenal or adrenal glands. After that, we have our arteries going to the kidneys here, which that is our renal arteries. And then we have our gonadal arteries that are coming off here, and they're cut about halfway here, but they're really just going to descend down the body. After gonadal, we have our final branch here, which is that inferior mesenteric artery. Then if I continued going down here, this is about the moment that the abdominal aorta will be splitting into the common iliac arteries, right about there. Now, we're actually going to learn the branches of superior mesenteric artery as well. And our first one's going to be called right colic artery. So this is the artery that branches off superior mesenteric artery and actually takes blood to the ascending colon. Middle colic artery will actually go upward and it will supply blood to the transverse colon. And then we have the ileocolic artery. This is an artery that'll have a little bit more branches, but it's actually going to take blood to the ileum and the cecum. So remember back in the previous chapter with the digestive structures, the ileum is the final part of the small intestine, and it comes into contact with the very first part of the large intestine, the cecum. So this artery will take blood to the ileum, the cecum, and also the appendix, which is attached to the cecum. Now, branches of the inferior mesenteric artery are going to go to the opposite side. So we have left colic artery that supplies blood to the descending colon, as it's going downward. We have sigmoid artery that'll supply blood to the sigmoid colon. And then we have the superior rectal artery that'll take blood to the rectum and the upper half of that whole anal canal. So let's see what these look like. So as we look here, we're going to start right here. So here's our celiac trunk. We can't see the branches of it, but it's labeled there for us. So we're going to go ahead and go from there. So just below that's where we're going to see superior mesenteric artery. And now we can see all those branches there. There's our middle colic artery coming off there. That's going to go to the transverse colon here. So we continue downward. We can have other branches coming here, like the intestinal arteries that are going to the rest of the intestines here. But we have the right colic artery coming off, and it's going to be providing blood to the ascending colon. And then we're going to have the ileocolic artery, which if you trace down here, you're actually going to see how it goes to the cecum and the ileum here. Now, coming off inferior mesenteric artery, which you'll remember, it's the final branch of the aorta before it becomes the common iliac arteries, and that's what we see right here. There's one common iliac artery, and there's another one. So this final branch is going to be inferior mesenteric artery, and its branch is going to be the left colic artery, which will come up here, and it'll provide blood again to the descending colon right here. The next branch is going to be the sigmoid artery. That's going to provide blood to the sigmoid colon where it curves. And then finally, we have the superior rectal artery that's going to go down to the rectum and the upper half of the anal canal.